Today, my guest is Thomas Griffin. Thomas, tell us who you are and what you do.
All right, Thomas Griffin, local 551 benefit rep.
And how long have you been here?
Oh, with Ford, 27.9.
27.9 years, huh? Very nice.
27.9.
One thing I really want to pull up here, and it's the brokerage window offering. This is 37C. And it says, during these negotiations, the parties discussed the ability for employees to use retirement savings accounts for direct access to the stock market. I think this is a great idea, and they need to implement this. It does go on to say that they're going to try to see what they can do, and they're going to try to make it happen. I just want to hear your opinion on this.
Right, the brokerage. So this part right here, there are a couple of things that from our meeting that we will be getting more information on. Some of it they didn't go into a lot of detail about. So I know it reads like this. There's the other thing talking about the annuity, things like that. That's more information to come. So they kind of briefed over that. But that's the way I read it. But I don't want to say, yes, that's exactly what they're going to say, and that's what this is. But it is, they are trying to make more adjustments to it, because the biggest problem that they see with our TESPHE and 401k is that most people use it as a savings account. They just borrow from it, and they're not really using it as a retirement tool, which is what the intent of it is. So they keep trying to come up with things or creating things to help people with that, because that's really what it's for. Really, they discourage that. I mean, I know people say, hey, that's my money. I do what I want to do, and all that. But at the same time, that's not the proper way to use a retirement tool, is to borrow from it all the time. So that's what some of these changes and things like that you're seeing, proposed changes. So upon ratification, you'll see some more information come out about it.
So going along with that, I also see that they are going to be offering a class now that you're going to be able to take that will help you learn more about your TESPHE, and you'll be able to use your ETAP with it.
Right. The ETAP, part of the ETAP. And I know there are a couple of classes that, people have required about retirement classes, things like that, that they're going to try to do. We actually went through a training a few months ago that they want us to start doing. That's benefit rep. So to start doing or try to work with the membership and understanding the TESPHE and things like that. So which class or which ones or is this a class bring in somebody to teach? If it's a class or something that they're going to bring someone in to teach or not, I don't know if that's exactly how they plan on doing it, their intent on doing that. But yeah, there's going to be some a lot more education that's what we need to work on as far as these programs, so that the members really know what they're doing, what they really have. So yeah, there will be more programs coming.
Okay, Thomas, I have the highlights open here to the healthcare benefits improved, expanded, and protected. You want to go into a little bit about some changes that happened there?
A couple things. So there are some changes to like your glasses, your eyeglasses. First it was every other year, so every 24 months. Now it's proposed to be changed to every 12 months, where you can get glasses and contacts, which is good, because a lot of people, vision and stuff do change yearly. So that's an improvement that they had with that. Something else that I saw that was pretty good is with the changes in your hourly rate. That means that your UniCare payments go up. So that's something that people always complain about. Well, UniCare don't pay enough, or they don't, so as your pay rate goes up, you are going to see that increase in your weekly payments.
Okay, so let's touch on the chiropractic care for a minute. I see that there is actually a lot of improvements, it looks, to PPO. I actually have an HMO. Is this actually going to be covered under HMO?
The thing about the HMO, that's where everything is. You get a referral, okay, you can go see whoever you want if you have the HMO, but the HMOs try to keep everything in their network. That's the only difference. The PPO, I mean, you can go to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota if you want to. You can go see anywhere, anybody that's in network. So you want to see the Chicago Bulls orthopedic doctor. If he's in network, you can go see him. But they did add that chiropractic care, which is something that a lot of people said they wanted, is chiropractic care. So that's something new that's being added to the PPO coverage, because at first you didn't have that at all. It was kind of loosely written, I should say that. The way it was before is you could only get one visit if you had a car accident or something. That's basically it. You can get x-rays, basically. That's the way the language was previously. So it really wasn't much coverage at all.
So I also see we have medical travel benefits. They'll reimburse you up to $2,000 per member per calendar year for certain medical services. Travel must be greater than 150 miles.
Yeah, and some people have that with different illnesses or things. You might have to go somewhere, out of network. Well, I wouldn't say out of network, but, between facilities, you might have to go back and forth. Preventative screenings, which is always good to have increased coverage in preventative. That's something that's, just to keep your health good and everything like that. There's something. And the fertility thing is something they enhance, because usually the HMO usually had better fertility benefits, but they've fixed a few things with the PPO, which should help some people that are looking to, become pregnant and have a family and things like that.
So also I see new is TESPHE 401k annuity retirement option. Someone asked about this in one of the other live streams, and no one really knew what this is. Can you try to explain this to us?
Yeah. So with the TESPHE, now this is something too that they really didn't go into a lot of detail, because the annuity program is something that, if the contract is ratified and everything, it will take them probably most of 2024 to build the program. Okay. So there are a couple of different options and things like that they could do, but it has to be government approved and all that stuff like that. So it's not something that, for just the UAW just come up with. It's this government approved, regulated, and all that. So it's got to follow guidelines. But it will take them most of 2024 from what we were told. But it will be a good thing for a lot of people, to the way the annuity will work. It'll help a lot of people too, because, annuities, if you say you want a X amount of dollars, for you're looking to have a certain income or whatever, the annuity will help you achieve what you want monthly. So that's something that I think a lot of people will be receptive to, as opposed to just the way it is now. The TESPHE, you putting your money in the market and it's out there. It fluctuates up and down. Some people are uncomfortable with that. If you ever sit with a financial planner, that's one of the things they always tell you. Your risk is basically on how you feel. If you feel like, you don't like the risk, they always want you to be very conservative. So you tend not to make too much money when you're real conservative. You're on the low end. But the people who want to be risky, hey, they'll throw out as much as money as they can, and they'll swing with the highs and lows of the market. It don't bother them. But I think that annuity program will kind of help people who just, hey, I want this much money in retirement, and it'll tell you basically you have to fund your account this way and all that. It'll kind of help people a lot more.
Okay, so I see life income benefit is going to be increased to $5. How does this work? Is this going to be $5 per, like $5 per hour? I'm confused on this.
Well, okay, so the life income benefit really, you have to really look at the white pages to kind of understand. So this is something that the life income benefits really has to do with the pension benefit. Okay, it's the formula and the way the pension is made up. Pension benefit is made up of two parts: life income benefit and a supplement. Okay, so the formula for the life benefit was increased so that the pension benefit is a little higher. So right there where so this formula, so that's part of how you calculate. You have the life benefit part, the supplement together is now basically increased. If you have 30 years of service between age 55 and 62, your benefit went from 3170 to 3465. So that's just, now everybody you got to look at a little differently because, but to give you a basic answer to that, you went from 3170 to 3465 with 30 years. And these numbers right here, just a way to calculate. That's all. Now, if you go to your My Four Benefits account, and run your calculation, it gives you all this for you. But this is just the numbers behind all that.
I also see that we have an enhancement to our optional life insurance. It looks like it might have been increased to 700,000. So last time the open enrollment came around, I must have made a mistake because it ended up asking me for some information. And I thought if I did it during open enrollment that it wasn't going to ask for that. I'm not totally sure what I did wrong there.
Right. Well, it depends on how much you're asking for. So in the window, which is a good thing, is that because if you have any health issues or anything like that during that open enrollment period, they ask you no question. You can just go up a level, right? So that's what that window is really for and really good for. Now, if you can increase at any time of the year, but you get a statement of health letter. That letter has to be filled out, sent back. It goes to underwriting. If they find something in there that they say, hey, well, we found something in your history, then you wouldn't be insurable. Okay. So that's the thing, the risk kind of, if you take that, if you say, hey, I want a $500,000 policy, you gotta, you're higher than the limits allowed. So that's why they send you that letter a lot of times. And you have to go through that process basically just to see if you can be insured.
I really wanted to talk about current retirees.
Okay.
I don't know where I would find that. So I know that they're going to get $500 per month, or I'm sorry, $500 per year. Wasn't there something about profit sharing for them as well? I wasn't clear on that. Yeah, so I must have been a rumor about them getting some kind of profit sharing, huh? I don't see that here.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, because see, the only thing with that is that, like, when you retire, let's say if you retire right now, you would still get that profit sharing in March for what you did this year because you retired that one time, but it doesn't continue year after year. So you're not penalized. You don't lose that basically. So like this is November. So if you retire right now, if you were to, not that you're going to, but if somebody did, for example, retired right now, then next March they still would get their profit sharing. But any year after that, they would not. That might be something you saw on there. But other than that, current retirees only get the $500. And that interim supplement still has to do with your formula. Like I was telling you earlier, that interim supplement and then the life benefit together, that's what totals that your 3465.
Okay.
Now this is something that a lot of misunderstanding too about that interim supplement. A lot of people who are retirement eligible now, a lot of people don't realize that supplement drops at age 62. Basically 62 in 1 month, it drops. So a lot of people look at it and they, we have people that call right now and then they for whatever reason forgot. I don't know why, something, and didn't realize that at 62, when they turn 62 in a month, that supplement drops off. So their monthly pension does differ a little bit, but that's just something for people to really know. I get a lot of people right now who are going to be looking at their retirement and things like that. But when they run their calculation on their MY4 benefits, that's something to really look at. Now, the new numbers aren't loaded yet. So the numbers you see now are the old numbers if you go into your MY4 benefits account.
Right. Let's see. TESPHE Improvements. So this, like, they are matching them 10% no matter what, right? They don't even have, they are, it's not even a match anymore, right? It's just they're going to put it in there.
No, it's not a match. Yeah, it's not a match. It's like right now, 6.4%, right? No matter what you're doing. And then that's supposed to go up to the 10%. But yeah, it's not a match. It's just a flat. That's what you get once you become in progression. So it's TFTs do not, but once you become in progression, then you get that company contribution, I should say.
Gotcha. How, like, TFTs, it's going to take them like 90 days and then they will become full-time. Is that, do you know that language?
Right. From what I was told, yes, it's basically 90 days. I'm trying to see what page that's on. But
so it says all temporary workers will be converted to full-time. It's like they have to have so much time though.
yeah, but under the old agreement, I mean, you had 2 years, I think it was, that they were working before they got converted. So yeah, that was the whole issue about the tiers. You remember how we were trying to get, they were trying to work to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Now I'm saying, yeah, temporary workers, they start at 21, and then after they get their 90 days, they go up to 24.
Mike McCullough says, isn't it 90 days for current workers and 90 plus days? So I'm thinking you have to have 90 days in currently and you're going to get rolled over. And then it's going to be, I think he's saying 90 days after.
He's talking about TFTs. From what I
Mike McCullough can jump in here if he wants and explain his question. he knows that.
So what I was saying was I thought it said that current temps with 90 plus days will convert, and moving forward it's 9 months before you convert. Am I correct?
let me see. I'm trying to look on here.
Hold on, babes.
Because on page 14 it talks about 9 months maximum period to full-time status. But there was something about if you already had 90 days, they were converting them.
So that's in the next paragraph, which you're talking about, the 90 days backwards, the 90 days back date conversion language.
Right.
That's the 112A. So yeah, the people that have 90 days are being converted right away.
Conversion will occur on the first Monday following their completion of 9 months. On the first Monday, huh? All right. So we're saying everybody with 30 days right now or 90 days right now? 90 days right now, right? They're going to get rolled over?
Yeah, 90 right now.
Okay. And then it's going to take 9 months after that of continuous work on top of it.
So yeah, but I think that part is a good thing. So you get rid of this whole 2-year thing and all, which and they get the profit sharing and things like that, which were a lot of big complaints. If y'all remember around that time, who got what and all that. Also, I'm just thinking out loud of some things. I'm trying to remember what page that was on, but in the language too, it talks about the raises where, how you had to have your weeks worked. So that's gone. So you don't. So basically, it's not weeks worked. So you just basically. I'm trying to find the schedule. That helps people if you're out on medical. So if you're not on medical no more than 90 days, that time off would still count towards your raises. Because we went to our question and answer last week. So that was just something that was brought up that I thought was pretty good. But
so with continuous work being the wording, can they fire you before 9 months, similar to 89 days? I think it's still, if time exceeds time, you reset. I think that was how that was still worded.
You're talking about here in the 50C right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it says about 30, something about as long as it's not more than 30 days. That bullet point, that third bullet point,
Yeah.
says for up to 30 days and still maintain their status. But if they're off more than 30 days and then they.
That is confusing the way that is worded.
Yeah, because as it goes down, it talks about.
Yeah, if you're off longer than you were active, which is the way that it used to be. So I'm not clear on that.
Well, in the added language, doesn't it say after 30 days?
Yeah, it does say something about after 30 days.
At the bottom of 50C.
Isn't that where I'm at right here?
Back up there.
Yeah, but it carries on over to the next page. So the
Right. 30 it adjusts when you are reinstated, basically.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one, honestly. I think it's going to be the way it was before. I think they say if it's breaking is greater than 30 days. If you've been there longer than 30 days, is that's what that's saying? The break-in period, continuous service is greater than 30 days.
Right. That's when you start to run into the making up that time.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but as long as it's less than that, you don't have to make up any additional time. You still are in your 9-month window.
That's just it's worded very weird to me. That's just. Oh, Mike, you got anything else you would like to talk about?
No, not really. I was listening for a while, and then I just chimed in because of the temp thing.
There is something about the sub benefits too that's that they talked about too.
Everyone gets 52 weeks now instead of different amounts, right?
Well, yeah, that too. That's so we're all on the same thing. But you guys, I don't know, did you guys ever talk about in the summertime what's going to happen with summer shutdown?
Yeah, they're only going to hold 1 week
only have
now.
to use 1 week.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, in the second week you could do your unemployment, or basically be a sub week, because that'll be your waiting week more than likely. That July your wait, so you'll get to use your sub benefits, and your sub payments are higher now because your pay rate is up.
So does that matter? Right. What if you still have the vacation time? Are they going to force you to use it still, or are they going to be? Are you able to sign a paper?
Just the 1 week. They can only use 1 week, the 40 hours.
Okay.
But I mean, it's good that the sub benefits are a little bit higher also. That helps people, you get to, you can use that in the summertime if you want. I guess if you didn't want to, you could just take a week with no pay too if you wanted. So,
right.
However you want to do
That's kind of like what the new tenants policy is, like with the 3 days that reset every year. That's almost like 3 unpaid days that you get yearly. Just don't get yourself caught up in that.
But I wanted to say too about that attendance thing, though. People still got to be careful about how they use their UniCare, because a lot of people still have a misconception about medical leaves. That's something that people still don't understand fully, and I think a lot of it is because they all, you'll go to medical or whatever, and you'll see these bulletins they got that tell you, hey, 3 days, call UniCare. So a lot of people think, hey, I'm going to wait 3 days. I got 3 days to give, but that's really not what that means. Okay. Really what that is about is that the attendance policy says after 3 AWOLs, you got to call UniCare. It doesn't mean you're covered. So the attendance policy and the medical policy, 2 different things. So people still got to be careful about that, because medical and out, and then the emergency room doctor says, hey, 2 days off, come back. And they go to medical says, hey, your time off justified. They go to labor and they say, hey, you're AWOL. Well, you're still going to run into these problems with the attendance problems, because any unpaid time under UniCare is going to be counted as an AWOL if it's unpaid medical.
Right.
So people still got to be careful about that, understanding that just because you medical out and get a doctor's note, And as much as we tell people that, they still hang on that. So you can still, even though the attendance policy has changed where you can cover yourself and things like that, just be mindful of, just because you medical out and come back to work and that note says that you're still not covered if UniCare doesn't pay you.
You know, I actually had a question. It was about the attendance policy. So we're allowed to use up to 60 hours. Are you only allowed to use the personal time, or not the excused absence, but the vacation time in the event you are up for discipline?
No. So you can use up to 60, whether it's vacation, personal, but only at first you could only use personal time, right?
Yeah.
To cover, right? So by being able to use up to 60 hours to cover yourself with vacation and or personal time like that. I mean, the way the language is kind of written, we had a lot of back and forth trying to understand what that is, because it seems like you can always have a get out of jail free card if you have personal vacation time. It seemed like the way they kind of wrote it. But I mean, really, the way I see the attendance policy, the way it is kind of hard. It would be kind of hard to get in trouble attendance wise, because you have ways of covering yourself. You got, this is that I think that everybody being reset to zero. If you pay attention to your attendance and make sure that you are paid and covered all the time, people really shouldn't run into attendance issues, because you can always get out. You can always cover yourself. You got time. Now, the one thing we got to get clarity on, because somebody was saying something about family days. I didn't see where it said you could use family days, but that's something we got to find out exactly. Does that include family days also? That was something that was mentioned, but I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's the first I've heard that one.
Something else just to throw out there while we wait and looking over stuff. I saw somebody had posted something today. I didn't really jump on there and comment on it, but somebody was asking why the company was paying the $3,000.
The strike benefit.
Yeah, somebody posted that.
Yeah, that was like, why are you complaining? Why are you even questioning that? Be happy about that.
Well, true. I mean, I agree, but I just, when people see that, they think conspiracy, right? Or they pay.
I'm a conspiracy theorist at heart, but hey, I'm all about that. Thank you.
Right. Well, I can tell you, what we were told when we went to our meeting. Since we had a TA, the decision was whether do the strikers come back to work now, or do they wait till the contract is ratified, then come back to work. So the company wanted everybody to come back to work, and then the union basically was say, if they go back to work, you got to pay them. So because if we stayed off until the contract was ratified, look how much money they would have lost.
Right.
Ratification. So basically, the union went to them and said, well, if this is what you want, this is what. And that's why that is. It's not because people think it was a payoff. Is really, hey, you guys can go back to work. And this is the money or whatever. They told them, hey, this is what you got to pay so they can go back to work. So you'll stop losing money. So they would have lost way more money than what they're paid us to come back.
Yes, they would.
Makes sense to me.
So that's really So that's what that was about.
So that was all about that. Thank you. It was a little extra bonus just for going out on strike.
I mean, hey, I'll take it.
Yeah. All right. Well, the vote starts tomorrow, correct? Or is it tonight at midnight? Tomorrow at a certain time?
Tomorrow, 4 p.m.
Tomorrow, 4 p.m. And
there will be
Tuesday night at 8.
Through Tuesday night at 8? Is that when it ends?
Yeah, I believe
there will be question and answers too at the hall. So I think that that's something good for people to know. They can go to the hall. From what I understand, International will be in town, where people can go to the hall, ask questions before they vote. but they will be there, I think, from 4 to 8. I think that's what they said for international.
Yeah.
4 to 8 Monday, 4 to 8 Tuesday.
Right.
So if people have more questions, you know, go get your answers, before you vote. Don't vote and then come ask questions.
For real, right?
Yeah.
So what do you guys think overall? Do you guys like the contract?
I mean, I'm gonna say this, okay, because this has been I don't want to say a hot topic, but I guess it is a hot topic where people say, "Hey, you're supposed to say no," or I see people who say, "I was always told you just say no," and all that. I don't know where people got that from. That's never been a thing. I mean, like I say, I've been around. I know Mike. We've been around a long time. Almost 28 years, and every contract I've been through, I've never really seen that where people say, "Oh, you just say no just because." So I think that what you do is you look for one, the greater good, okay, in a contract, because nobody likes. I don't think that you will ever see a contract where 100% of the people will agree 100% of the time. I think that's impossible. I think that's false to even think that. Okay, but with these gains in this contract, we have the most money in this contract than any other contract ever. The most money out there on the table. So, yeah, some people complain about some things here and there. Why not this? Why not that? But is that overall something to say no about because of an issue here or there? I think that's how you have to look at the contract. Are there some good things in the contract that you can live with? Just to say no to something because of one area, well, everything in the contract necessarily may not apply to everybody. Somebody may not care about certain areas in the contract because it really don't apply to them. That's not what they're looking at. Some people only want to look at this one area. This is what I want to focus on. But overall, I mean, I feel like there are a lot of good gains in this contract, things that I never thought I would see in a contract that we have. So,
especially in one contract, right? One contract, definitely.
Yeah. So,
Chris Bolton asks, he says, so far it looks like a landslide, but I keep hearing if anybody knows when the final tally will be in. When will we all vote? Are we the last plant to vote? Are we somewhere in the middle? Do you guys know?
I think we're in the middle. Because I've started looking at that tally sheet. I'm pretty sure we're in the middle. I thought that everything was going to be ended up by like Thursday, but I had to go back and kind of look at some of the other things.
What Thomas just said is, I agree with that. And to kind of touch on specifics that people are talking about, like the post-retirement healthcare and whatnot, that's not even going to come into play for people for at least 2 more contracts. So to hold out for that right now, I given the amount of money that's being spent on this contract, I would say you're going to have way better chances later down the road. And not only that, but like there's other options we have. Like we could make VIBA work for everybody. It's not just going to have to be for, legacy. That's the way it's set up now, but we can always change that, and so certain things that people are hung up on are things that there's still time to gain those later on. And if you start scrambling the numbers now by trying to go back and negotiate some more, we could end up losing some things. And I'm not trying to scare people. I'm just saying, like, they're not going to give you more. They're going to move the money around. It's what they're going to do. And it could end up, biting some people in the butt. So.
Yeah, and that's something that they did say. There really isn't any more money to get. You can only shift things around.
Right.
And like Mike was saying, so that's a point that they did, let us know. You can only move. So and to think about that, if I'm just going to go in and shift money around, now you're shifting something that somebody was like, hey, I wanted that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
you just shifted the money from there over to here. Now this person might like this, but now this person don't like this. So
Mhm.
you're just going to be shifting things around. You're not adding anything. I mean, that's just something to look at. And I know people talked about the lease program that Chrysler has and all that, but that's money that was shifted around so that they could have that.
So my sister works for Jeep, and they are very upset about their contract. So a lot of stuff that they got, it says right in there that it can be cut off at any time. Their attendance policy, it has like lates included in it, and now like a late is like a half of an occurrence basically for them. Their contract does not look good. It's a shame. Hammer says our last contract was 2.5 billion. This contract is 9.1 billion. So much more money spent on this one.
Right. So that's something right there. A lot of money.
Yes, it is.
And a lot of money to be made. So
did you guys see those leaked letters?
All the fake ones.
Yeah, you guys think those were fake?
Yeah.
It's like they looked old, if anything. Like even if they were real, it had to be like old, because the one signature in the corner, like on the current release, it looks like that's probably Chuck Browning, right? It's a C and it almost looks like an 8, which I guess could be a B. But on those ones, there was like an AM over there. I don't know who that would be. I thought that was Alan Mullally, but maybe he's not on there.
These are leaked letters about. I didn't see that. This is something about.
It was the administrative letters, and supposedly there was 50. Yeah, the fake ones, Hammer. Supposedly there was some shady language in it.
Huh.
But yeah, someone came out saying that they were holding these. We actually showed it on one of the shows, and I put it up and I tried to show the signatures next to or the initials next to each other.
Oh.
So it looked fake.
Very.
Has it become more strict, the policy? No, the policy got a little looser this time.
Yeah.
At least it looks like it did.
Unbelievably.
The attendance policy,
right.
It looks like it got looser.
Yeah, to say the least, It really is.
So like I was saying, on the Stellantis ones, they did change theirs to occurrence like they did on ours, but theirs is clearly labeled that lates is in there, right? Ours is not clearly labeled. Evidently, lates are a local issue. My issue, like my whole concern is, what if our late policy says that lates are chargeable occurrences already? It's like, I've been asking for the late policy. No one knows where to find it. It's like, I hope that's not the case. That would be so underhanded. That would be so underhanded if that is the case. Like, I hope that is not the case at all.
Well, that being from a different body within the contract, that they don't govern each other unless there's some notation within the contract language that says that you also see, section 12, article 34, whatever. That's how you would tie something together. As long as there's nothing tying the two together, then they're completely separate within the contract.
Good. Let's hope it stays that way too.
Yeah.
Because that's awful for Stellantis.
Yeah, and I did contact Tommy
Vitalis.
Vitalis, yeah, and he said that there was nothing shady about that. That was strictly talking about the AWOLs.
Okay.
So
good. All right, guys. I guess that will be it. Thank you for coming on. So.
All right.
Remember, everybody, go out and vote. If you got questions to ask International, they'll be there from 4 to 8. Is what you said, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.